Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Real to Real, where we have real convos with real people. I'm your host, Thamousca, and today I have the honor and pleasure to be here with my dear friend, Mrs. Jeribeth Solis Perez. Jeribeth is a devoted wife, proud mama of two, and a follower of Christ. She's an infant mental health specialist and licensed mental health counselor, specializing in Santre therapy and child centered play therapy. She recently launched her private practice, The Mindful Heart Counseling, in the Palmetto Bay area of South Florida. Jeribeth is passionate about helping children develop emotional self regulation that is very needed and supporting families in building strong, connected bonds with their little ones. Her goal is to care for the hearts of the smallest among us and to remind families that they never have to walk alone on this journey. On this journey. Welcome, Jeri, to the show. Hi,
Hi, Tammy. Thank you. That was such a beautiful introduction. I couldn't have done it any better.
I have to bless you with this intro because you do so much. And even literally right before the show, Jerry's kind of like, we are just chit chatting about what she's doing. She's building other offices. She's like literally taking this entrepreneurial journey by the horn. So tell me, how is it, does it feel to kind of like run your own private practice?
Hmm. Well, for so long, I guess I was very hesitant and like, oh my God, like I can't really do that on my own. But going into this has been such a blessing, and it's so beautiful and rewarding to really have the freedom to do your own thing, and walk among with these families that really want services. So,
Yeah.
and then when they talk to you and they tell you like the stories and how it's impacted their life, it's just like a beautiful cycle. So it's
Oh, and for those people who don't know, like me and Jerry, we go like way back now, right?
mm,
We started JCS. Was it 2017?
2018, I think it was. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, before COVID.
Yes.
And so I knew Jerry before mommyhood
Mhm.
journey, and then I kind of saw you blossom, into a beautiful mother and just successful, just in all your endeavors. Jerry's the type of person. She's such a hard worker. She always had more than two jobs at once, and I just didn't know how she did it. I mean, she's such an inspiration. Like literally, she always had some hustle going on. So I'm so happy to hear that now you're doing your own thing. You know what I mean? Um, so this is one of the things I actually wanted to explore today, this myth about motherhood, right? So even though, online we see this glamorization of motherhood and how people are making it look so easy, but is it really? So right now, today, we're looking at mothering, managing, and maturing. Is motherhood easy? So Jerry, we're going to go right into it. So where do you think, in your opinion, this whole myth, this idea, this belief that motherhood is easy comes from?
Well, I think that a lot of what we see or what we um I think I want to say like we look forward to in motherhood is like the beauty of connecting with your child and like how they're resting or the babies are just so how do you say it in English, like tranquilos, like they're calm, and even breastfeeding, like it's such a beautiful thing, and then you just get back in shape and you're and you're just able to manage like work and quality time and your family,
Yeah.
and it just is a little bit different than that.
Ooh. Um, I love that because I was even having this conversation with someone else who's actually a recent mother. She, like few months her baby is, and one of the things I was sharing with her is the Brady Bunch. I don't know if you remember the Brady Bunch,
Yeah,
right?
with all the children.
Yeah. And so the Brady Bunch was like this blended family that came together, and I believe they had like six children, and how the mother was kind of like Barbie princess and always
Mhm.
put together, always smiling. You never really saw in the show the struggles or any like sad moments on Carol, I think it was Carol Brady and Mike Brady, or something like that. And so this is kind of like this concept where on TV and media and pop culture, where there's this constant bombardment of glamorizing the role of motherhood and making it look so easy. And it's kind of like, what kind of rep are they? What kind of message is that sending to people who's either don't have children, or even who's even going through it and looking at it like, no, that's not the real deal.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I remember we had kind of like conversation, and I remember you saying like, Tammy, it's not easy, you know. And so I just appreciate you being here today and just kind of being open and candid about it and really just kind of diving in. So for you, what are some of the toughest internal struggles that you face that maybe you had to deal with on your own in silent and private that just went unnoticed?
Oh, well, I always like remember having this conversation right when we because again we were a team of that we would work for infant mental health, so we would work with children, with young children, and just we got so much training, and we had this team of supportive, like we even working with like prenatal and like depression, like for moms. So when I gave birth, I had this idea. I always wanted to be a mom. Like what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a mom, right? I
Yeah,
want to have 4 children. Like this was my dream.
yeah,
And then I had my first baby, and I was like, I was in those birthing classes. I'm like, I'm not even gonna listen to the C-section part because I'm gonna have a natural birth. Like, what is
yeah,
this? I'm so healthy, I'm doing working out, the pineapple, everything. I was like doing everything that you're supposed to do. And then I
yeah.
was like,
Pineapple. I love it.
and then I went to give birth. My baby was not coming out. I couldn't push him out. He was like stuck. So I had to do like an emergency C-section. And it was just all so shocking and like fast, and seeing the fear in my parents' eyes, and they're taking me into the surgery room, and they take this baby out of me, and I feel him for like a second, and then he's gone, right? And then he's in like the NICU for 10 days.
Ooh,
So it was a lot. I feel like it was a lot, and I remember saying like, if I was not in this field, I don't know what would have been of me, right? Because it's kind of like,
mhm.
okay, get it together, get out of this bed, and go walk to see your baby, because he was not even in the room with me. I couldn't hold him. I couldn't hold him for like what, 13, 14 hours until after I gave birth. So that was one of the things.
So did you ever share that with anyone?
Yeah, I told my birth story to a few people, and but in while it was happening, like it was like not like a conversation, right? Like those things were not like settling. It was more of like what I have to do and caring for this baby. They sent me home with the baby. What I do? Why don't we stay longer? You know?
Yeah. And this is the part where that's never mentioned,
Yeah.
the delivery portion. People think like you're pregnant, your water breaks, you go to the hospital, you have a vaginal birth, and then that's it, everything's good, right? You go home with your
Hmm.
baby. But people don't understand that every woman is different. Everyone's delivery journey is different. And the moment from the time you hit the hospital, or if you have a doula, you're at home, from that time when you're having those contractions to the time you deliver, sometimes it's hours, days. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I think about my mom. I think she was saying she was like maybe 2 days or something, like it just kind of in pain and tried to deliver, and she couldn't.
Yeah.
So to hear that from you, I mean, that's just like, wow. Imagine you just gave birth and you can't even really hold your baby, and have that bonding moment with your child. And you mentioned something that's also was important, because I thought about that too. We were in a field where we were dealing from the population of 0 to 5, and so I'm glad that was able to kind of be a bridge for you, like kind of like a way to understand what parents go through. And as we're getting the training and as we're kind of learning a little bit more in depth of what it is, like infant mental health, because your mental health also impacts the babies as well.
Yes, yes.
So after delivery, how did you deal with that mental health aspect? for you?
So after delivery, there was a lot, again, a lot of fear. I remember just being very fearful of like protecting my baby, because I see all those children in the NICU, and like I didn't really have people like from my family coming. We didn't allow that. It was just my husband and I
Mm-hmm.
caring for our baby. And even when I was like my mom would offer help, I was like, no, 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 because I just wanted to be so protective over my child. And it was hard. And I remember like going, because I was a 3 months maternity leave, and I remember going to our back in for, I don't know what, we had to go in for something. The Tanya had asked me, our supervisor, to like come
Mm-hmm.
meet, and
Yeah.
she asked me something of like how I was doing, and I think she closed the door because I just broke down. Like it was like that.
Oh,
I didn't even realize I was holding all of this in, and I was just like, oh,
right.
this is so hard. Because then it was like my husband would be like, but don't hold him like that, because he had like spit up, and then changing the diaper, but then he's gonna be dirty. Like every little thing was so like
Yeah.
it was hard and a struggle, and somebody watching over your shoulder, and then me too for him, watching him. So I was just holding on to like 1 year, right? We're gonna make it. We just need to push through this 1 year. And then that was like a celebration. Like my baby's
Right.
1 year. We made it as a couple. But really, it was really these conversations were really from the support of her. Like I don't think I could have made it through my first year without her.
Wow. I appreciate that because, a lot of times, you have your first child and you want to just protect that first child so much and
Mhm.
you don't want the outside, influence and help. And so the fact that, like you said, you were internally suffering in silence, not even knowing the needs that you had,
Mhm.
and that comforting motherly bond came around and you just kind of like released what you had pent up. Another key point you said that was interesting is that, yeah, first for the first child, it's new for your husband, it's new for your family, it's new for you. So how were you guys in terms of navigating um the differentness in terms of how to raise this child that we just have? I think your firstborn was a boy. So how was it in terms of like you had a way of doing things and he has his way of doing things as a dad? How did you guys kind of come together and figure it out?
Wow, I haven't felt like I have sighed so much in this
Yeah.
conversation. And this was 6 years ago, my first child, so I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, he's 6 already.
yeah,
Luca.
he's gonna
Yeah.
be. So again, like I was doing social media and our job allowed me for so much research, right? And things to learn. And like, I was like looking for solutions and, okay, how do I interact this way? And how can I, relax? Or how can I incorporate my workout? And how can I be a wife? Um, so what I did this train it was like a parenting class, and it
Yeah.
was online as well, because when he was 4 months, that's when COVID started. So when I was ready to like
Oh.
let him go out to the world, right, or allow the world to come,
Yeah.
COVID started like 2 weeks after. And I was like,
Oh my
and I
god.
went back to work, right, in that month.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, what do you mean? So we were so isolated. We were like alone.
I
I
remember.
remember walking in the park, and people would literally cross the street to be on the other side of the sidewalk. So we were so alone, so alone.
Oh no.
And but I was like, you know what? I cannot fight against him. Like we need to figure this out, because we're
Yeah.
not each other's enemies. Like we're just trying to do the best for our child. So we did this parenting, and being a therapist, I'm like, I'm supposed to know all these things, right?
Mhm.
No. So I did this parenting class. It was like a 12-week thing, and every week we would log on, and it was at night when we stepped the kid, we only had one, so our baby, and it was just other parents going through the same things, and we were not crazy. It was just like things that were happening with other parents in these early stages. So
Yeah. And it's beautiful. And this is the beauty of talking and reaching out for support. Because I always say there's this African proverb that says, it takes a village to raise a child. But guess what?
Mm,
Even as adults, too, we need a village, we need a community support system. And as you know, we're in the mental health field. We all know the importance of support system for our
mhm,
mental well-being, right? So the fact that you saw that, hey, I'm not alone on this journey. I'm not the only one who doesn't know, like, okay, I'm not sure, should I lay the baby on its side, on its back? Do I, how often do I have to hold them? Do I tend to the child when they're crying, or do I wait a little bit? Like all these different nuances, you're getting to understand not only your baby, but you're also getting to understand yourself as
yeah.
well in the process. And your husband has always been, I was always like, always in, like, always felt so great that you had someone who was there and who's always been like, he's the builder. I always saw him as
Mhm.
your builder husband, right? You guys would always be building things, sensory play. I mean, I remember Jeri would like be pregnant and still like on social media and posting. And when the baby was born, is like you guys were drilling and creating things downstairs room. I
Mm,
just beautiful senior evolution, and that's just to show you were juggling motherhood, you were creating like content online, um, and I mean it's just beautiful to see. So, which kind of lends to the next question for you, in terms of what do you think this myth motherhood is easy is kind of like, how do you think it's impacting individuals who maybe are not mothers and who maybe are expectant mothers, for example? How do you think that that's how they're viewing that statement?
well, I think I want to point back. Well, I want to. My first thought was social media, but also like even like having deeper conversations, right? Because if I'm having like a fight with my husband, I am not going to be posting that. Or
Yes,
if I'm screaming at my child, if I'm losing, I'm in mental health, right? And children, especially with children, and if I'm losing it, I am not going to be posting a video of myself like screaming, right? Or yelling,
right.
or saying no, right? So we don't see that.
Yeah,
Or we see like everything's organized. I don't know how, because the dishes are never done. Like this is it's and the laundry, it's endless. So
yeah,
I think that we see all of that, and then seeing like, oh, the dyes, the food, and doing the feeding and with your hand, no, but then do the what is it, the purees, no, the breast milk, the form. It's like so much information over, I think, that we always feel like incapable, whether it's like I'm not doing it right as a mom, or if you're not able to have a baby, right? Then for the moms, they think that once you have your baby, that's the happiness, right? that's
that's the
that's
happiness.
the
Yeah,
only thing that's going to really fulfill me, and that's not true.
yeah. So you're thinking like, it maybe women who don't have children and they hear this motherhood is easy and they see all this fantasy online, you think it's like painting like a false
Mhm.
narrative or like a false message essentially. And then with that they end up having false expectations,
Mhm.
and then when with the false expectations they go into motherhood, or they're like, you know what, I want to have a baby, or I want to have 3 4 5 children, and they get into it, they
Mhm.
get the reality faced with it. Now they're disappointed. Now they're like, either
Mhm.
some of them, some women become resentful, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a great point in terms of, seeing the point where you have the baby and then now it's like, no. And you're like the third person who's telling me this, like, no, it's endless laundry. I constantly have to be cooking and cleaning. I don't have time for myself. Even though Jeri, I don't know how you do it, she's still, I remember you like pregnant and like doing squats outside and like exercising.
Yeah, it's my
Always
space.
been on it. Like, you are like the fit mom. So, and I think that was essentially your coping skill,
Yeah,
right? In terms of, I'm going through it, but working out was for you kind of like your sense of release or your sense of calm,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my space. Like nobody can come here in this space. Nobody needs me in at this moment,
Yeah.
and it's like it's really just letting my body like do its thing, right? I always like, okay, something's really like hard and it's really trouble, like I can't do nothing, I go for a run. Like, and I don't have to think, I don't have to use my body. No, I just have to go for a run and
I
like
love that. How are you managing now with two? Do you still have time to work out, or do you still make time to work out?
yes, no, I still make time. I still work out 5 in the morning because that's the only time that everybody is completely asleep.
Okay. This is
And
amazing.
after so many years, it's still hard. So again, a way of building community. Like I have my
Mhm.
friends, we text each other, I'm up, okay, let's go. And we like motivate each other. And it's just I make community in the gym. So
How
mhm.
has your another kind of topic we touched on was how has your life kind of changed post mom? Because you have friends that don't have children, and then you become a mom. It's kind of like you have to adjust in terms of your circle of friends. Like, do you feel like post mom, some of your friends like they understand what you're going through, and or did you have to kind of shift your circle of friends because there wasn't any like any um relatability, so to speak. Like you couldn't really relate to the old friends. How has
Yeah.
that been for you?
So definitely my children are super active.
Yeah.
So super super active, so I feel bad like going to with a friend that doesn't have children because I'm just like, I don't know if you want to be with me so long, so
Mm.
I feel like so much so free with friends who have children, same age. We understand, yeah, we cannot really like look at each other and chat for more than a minute. We have to like interrupt the conversation and go run, or
Right.
like, yeah, we have to really be pendiente. Like, okay, where are they? Okay, yeah, let's continue.
Yeah.
Oh, and sitting
Hold on.
down, no. Sitting down, no, no, no. We're like ready to run.
Ready to go. And your day, you start pretty late because right now for you it's like after 9:30. Um, how and you're saying you're up at 5. Like when do you go to sleep?
Yeah, well,
Jeez.
my bedtime is like 10 p.m. Max. Max. Usually I'll fall
Matt.
asleep earlier, but yeah.
Okay. And so the kids have like a routine now.
Yes, yeah. We have always been like really like they're going to sleep 7:30, 8:30 max. Like,
I love that. Tell me a
yes.
little bit more in terms of for women who allow their kids to kind of like, oh, 10, oh, whenever they're tired, oh, 10, 11, kids are still up. And I'm like, what? 10, 11? Like, what is up with that? Tell me how for you, how that important that is, right?
No, 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 no. I actually have a friend. I was talking about this with my husband. Like, I have a friend who tells me she goes to sleep late. I'm like, no, 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 no. You cannot do that because it's so important, right? Like, if we're gonna go to for a marathon, we're not gonna have a Snickers bar right before, right? We're gonna
Mm,
train. We're gonna eat healthy. We're gonna try to practice. We're not just gonna show up and have a drink right before.
mhm.
Like, no. So you have to prepare your body for these kind of things. So we are like really set with routine for them because I work after I would sleep them, right? Like if they sleep at 7:30,
Yeah.
I would continue doing work so I could be with them in the daytime. Or if it's like time for my husband and we watch a movie or picking up around the house, just like little things that you need to just really disconnect because with
That's
them
right.
it's like go, go, go. So I really I would tell a mom to really do that. It was hard. Like we sometimes we would miss out on family dinners,
Yeah.
but we had those conversations like, okay, for 10 nights, I rather miss out on those 10 nights a year, right? We're gonna miss out on the late, family dinners, but we have our whole year like for the children and they're gonna be more rested and they have a schedule and if not they're gonna be cranky the next day. I just think it's very healthy for us to be in a routine for all of us for the sanity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I love that. Routine is key, you
Mhm.
know. not just if you're OCD, but
No,
uh,
no.
having a routine. And I think that's why me and you really click, because me and you were very meticulous when it came to paperwork, doing things a certain way, having things done. And so for
Yeah.
children is just as important. It helps them with, self-regulation. It helps them with having, like you said, being well rested. That impacts their overall mood and functioning. And so I love that you guys are now having a routine. So you probably don't even get no kickback now. 7:30, they're ready for bed. They're not like, "Oh, mommy, I want to stay up," right?
No, they do. They do. They're like they want a snack. They want another book.
Oh
They
yeah.
want to get something. But no, we have to be like, "No, you know what? It's bedtime." And then like she's like, "Oh, but I want a book." Well, I told you, so now you have to go without this book.
Oh, I love
Consequences, because
it.
really like routine, and it provides them safety, like we're
Yeah,
they know what to expect, and if they're always going to try to test our limits, right? But
that's right.
if we say it to them in like a, a nice way, we're not threatening them, so it's like
Mhm.
firm, in a firm and with kindness, it's going to be better.
Another thing I remember parents tend to do is bribe their children
Mm.
um, to sleep. If you go to sleep, I'll give you, candy. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like it works? Have you found yourself doing that with your children?
Bribing, no, because I just feel like it has to be consistent, and like they know when I say something, like they know that this is how it's gonna be, right? And even with my husband, if we have a disagreement in front of them, like we were talking about how our son was asking us for something. Let's just say he said 9 times, right? He was asking for 9 times, and he looks at me like, "Should I give it to him?" I'm like, "No," because then the next time it's gonna be 10 times and 11 times, and then it's always gonna be, trying to push
That's
that.
right.
So
Yeah.
no bribing, and really like I think that builds trust. Like we
Yeah.
said, we said you would get this if yes, and we give it to them. If not,
Right. Absolutely. I love the fact that you guys are working together collaboratively, because a lot of times one parent, you've heard the term good
yeah,
cop, bad cop, right? A good parent that's always like that parent that's always strict, that's like sticking to the terms and being consistent. And you have the other parent who's like, "Oh, but just this one time, give him the little chocolate." You know what I mean? So being able to kind of look at each other, give us the sign like, we're sticking to the guns. We're gonna do this, right? And the
yeah,
child end up respecting the both of you and knowing, like, if I go
yes,
to mommy, it's no. If I go to daddy, it's also no. You see
yeah,
what I'm saying? Because children are smart. They know who to play. They
yeah.
know, like, well, if I go to daddy, daddy's gonna say yes. You know what I mean? And so, I just love that collaboration. All right, so Jerry, as you know, this show, Real to Real, is all about, demystifying the myths and stereotypes that we hear on a day to day. And so the original myth, motherhood is easy. I always want to end the episodes with kind of like reframing or rephrasing the original myth in your own words. So for you, how could you change that myth, motherhood is easy, into something that's more like realistic, something that it doesn't have to be like fancy sounding, it doesn't have to be, like a whole paragraph, but how would you restate it in a way that when people hear it, it's more realistic, as opposed to like this romanticized statement?
That's a hard question, because with all of its really hard things, I I love I love being a mom. And I want to the first thing that comes up is saying like motherhood is beautiful, but not in like how it looks perfect, not in the looks, but just like in everything internally, right? So the struggles that you're going through, and the growth that you see, and the bond that you see, right? Even if you're not able to bond, but when you do, and doing it in community, so like when all of these pieces come together, I see like it's so beautiful. It's a beautiful
So you,
experience.
so you would kind of like say something. So to you, it's kind of like motherhood is beautiful so long as you have community around
Mm,
you.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Um, obviously people going to interpret things, from their own perception, right?
Mm,
Me not being a mother, obviously I'm going to see it from a different lens. I know it's definitely beautiful. I can only go from the experience of me and my mother, what we had, right? And so and what my friends experience. And so for me, it's kind of like motherhood is hard, but it's okay. Like that's how I see it. Like it's okay if
mhm.
something is hard. You see what I'm saying? Because nothing in life is really easy. I mean, obviously, if you start doing something like business, like running your practice, right? There are times when in private practice, it can be challenging,
Yeah.
but there's also times when there's beauty in it, there's ease. And so I think looking at it as giving women like some grace and understanding that motherhood is beautiful. Motherhood can also be challenging, but it's okay if it's hard. It's
Yeah.
okay if you
If you
have
mess up,
difficult
it's
moments.
okay if you mess up.
Exactly. Because you're gonna mess up. And guess what? I always tell clients like it's in the messing up that
Mhm.
you have the biggest growth in life.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you fall down, it's when you get the no's, for example, in the interviews. It's when things don't go your way. That's when you really build some level of resilience. This is when you get to know and understand yourself. Because if everything was just easy and everywhere you went and it was always yes, then how would we grow essentially?
Yeah.
You know, um, so I love that one that you have. This is excellent. So, Jeri, before we go, I have this game for you, and it's called Real Truth or Real Lie. So, all these questions or all these statements here are actually the true statements are actually based on research. And as you know, in our field, everything we do in terms of interventions or strategies is based on evidence,
Mhm.
research, peer reviewed research, right? So it's important that we don't just kind of make statements, but that we back statements with research. So, you ready?
Mhm. I'm
All
ready.
right. Let's see if she gonna get 5 out of 5, y'all. Let's
Yeah.
see. But guess
Mm.
what? If you don't, that's okay too. That's okay too. All right. Question number one. Most mothers experience guilt regardless of how well they parent.
True.
Ooh, that is so true. You said that with confidence.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit about that? Maternal guilt?
It's never like well, it's hard to. It almost feels like, oh, I'm never doing it right. Mm.
Absolutely. And every mother, there's so many research on that. That mother do experience that. This sense
Mm.
of like, am I breastfeeding it right? Am I, if I'm choosing not to breastfeed and I'm doing let's say formula, you know, is that the right choice? You know what I mean? So it's so vast, and that is definitely a real truth. All right, number two, motherhood comes naturally to all women.
That is false.
That is so true. And I think we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, right? Every woman is going to have their own motherhood journey different. It's going to be so
Mhm.
different. Just because you're a woman and you have a vajayjay does not mean when you have a child is going to come naturally to you.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of postpartum depression comes in because some women, they don't know how to deal with it. Some women don't have that support system. Some of them, lose their self so much that it becomes so difficult that they become
Yeah.
resentful as mothers. So it definitely doesn't come naturally. Number three, sleep deprivation can impact a new mom's mental health.
Yes. True.
That's easy for you because we're in the mental health field, right? So how does that impact you when you don't get enough sleep? Like let's say you end
Oh
up sleeping at
no.
midnight, 1 in the morning. How does that impact you?
No, no, no. The way I show up the next day is no, like I am with a headache. I don't have the energy, the patience, mainly the patience. So that's why I'm like, no, I need to go rest so that I can go to the gym and my day could flow better.
Yeah, could be productive. Absolutely.
Mhm.
A certain amount of rest. full body of rest, when you go into full REM cycle, it does impact your overall mood and productivity the following day. I know I notice it for me when I don't get enough sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bit cranky. I'm impatient, so I definitely know if it impacts us as adults, imagine what it does to a child. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? All right, let's see. Number 4. Many mothers struggle silently with identity loss after having children.
Yes. Yes.
You said it with like, oh, yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You lose your sense of self. Like, who am I? I used to be like childless, and now I'm in this new territory, you know, of being a mom. Like, what is that?
I remember,
Um,
I'm gonna say something about that
yeah,
one. I remember a few months ago, my husband asked my one of my children, "Oh, what's her name?" Right? Because we're learning our names like this, other than mom and dad.
yeah,
We speak Spanish in our home, and my one of my children responded, "Oh, that's Mama Perez." I'm
it
like,
is.
I don't even have a name, not even my own last name. So I belong to you even. So like, oh, I'm a person. I'm a person too.
That's so true. That is so
Mm,
true. And this is why some women, even when they get married, it's like, I want to keep my name. I want to keep my sense of
mhm.
identity. You know what I mean? I love that you said that. Thank you for sharing that. You're right. You're your person. My name is Jeribeth.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, oh my gosh, I love this. Last one. Good moms don't need breaks from their kids.
No, that is false. You do. You do.
How do you take breaks? Like, how do you just do Jerry time other than like working out in gym?
I work because I have to. So it's like, oh, I have to work. I have to work. So those
Yeah.
are my breaks, or when I sleep then, right? Okay, I'll go out with my friends, we'll have a dinner or a Bible study. So that's like my time.
Nice. Well, I love that because we all need breaks, even from our husbands.
Yeah.
You need break. I can't constantly be looking at you, being around you all
Sorry.
day. Like Jerry, I need some me time. So for me, my me time is going to the gym, doing some yoga, going out there, and just kind of spending time with either friends or in-laws. And now that I'm in the UK, I'm building a new community. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because this is foreign land to me, and
Yeah.
so for me, it's kind of like rebuilding and trying to find like a circle of friends that I can have outside of just because life is not just married life. It's not just my husband. You know what I mean? And so, and I appreciate the fact that he allows me to just be and do things.
Yeah.
How some people you get into a relationship and it's like, you can't do this and you can't do that,
Yeah.
you can't go nowhere. And women get frustrated and resentful because now they feel like they're stuck in a situation where they don't
Or
have
they're
a
lost. Their
right.
identity, like what you said. So it's like, well, these are the things I used to love, or I love exploring new things, new
That's right.
activities, right? So,
Yeah. So it's a wonderful
mm,
thing to branch out because even as a mother, it's not all about motherhood. It's about also maintaining your sense of self and well-being and physical well-being in addition to your new role as mother.
yeah.
And Lord knows Jerry is always out there in the streets exploring. Jerry, I mean, I love the fact like Jerry will be like out in the park and we'll find some leaves if it's like fall and be like, kids, we're gonna do like some arts and craft with just leaves and
Yeah.
glue. Like
Yeah.
you make things so explorative. I don't know if that's the word, girl, but you make things like it can be so simple, but
Hmm.
you make it and turn it into like an exploration for them, like a science project for them, like fun for them. You know what I mean? And so, what can you say about like parents who feel like they have to buy like all these big toys and expensive gadgets for their child to learn about just life, science, nature, things of that nature?
Well, I think to say a true confession, right? Fully
Yeah.
transparent here. I felt like I was in that. for a bit. Like it's like it's almost like if I buy something, I know more. I don't know, something
Yeah.
along those lines, or more prepared. But no, because then it's like you're worried about you're spending time to create it, and then you're so busy with that that you're not actually doing it. No, so
Mm,
it's like no, your baby just they don't want all of these amazing things that have a bunch of reviews or beautiful things. They just want to spend time with you and
yeah.
that you're present, so it's like going, and then of course I look into like things that are beneficial. So it's like we go to the park and we build a mandala, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, but with
Love it.
we're looking for these items, we're showing each other, we're you're feeling the texture, we're like the
Mhm.
wind is blowing, so we're also being like okay, forgiving of it, right? Frustration. So we're doing all of this with just like these items that we find and we're exploring at our local park.
Right. Yeah. And even in your home, you use thing. I remember you had done something where it was like shaving cream, you put
Mm,
it in a bag, and it was like just this sensory play, all these different
yeah,
sensory items that you were creating for at the time, your son. And it was just kind of like, man, she just and then she would put dye in it.
yeah,
It would be like blue shaving cream, red shaving cream, or it'd be like it's just like rice that you'll put in a
yeah,
bin and for them to kind of touch. And kids love that. It's
yeah,
simple. You use items in your house and you create things that for them is like, whoa, my
yeah,
my hands are touching like, peas or rice or even bubbles or anything like that. And this is how kids learn. It's through play.
yeah.
So I love the fact that you're, doing centered and what's the other one? I'm drawing a
Play
blank.
therapy.
Play therapy, yeah. Play
Yeah.
therapy, and because they like that. And I know with the parents that you're working with, are they familiar or is it something like once they understand what it is, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is really helping my child."
Yeah, so I explain it to them, right? In the playroom, like when you have your child at home and they're already like they wanna buy a gun in Target, for example,
Yeah,
or if not, they wanna go they want to be like we're showing signs of aggression, or if not, and you say no, and they're watching something, you say no, or then they'll build it with a Lego, or then they'll use their fingers. So they're always going to find a way, for example, to play with a gun, right?
yeah,
They're going to find it. But then in the playroom, I tell my parents, like, we have those things here. We have guns, we have swords. Sometimes they're going to be in a fight with me, and this is a safe space for them because
right,
they need to explore, right? Their curiosity. It's not like you're curious about something and I'm just like, okay, don't talk about it. Stop. It's not going to go away. So we
right.
need like an environment to explore these things. So that's how I explain it to them.
Wow. I just love that. I always love play therapy. And as you know, you remember Natalie?
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Natalie has that same passion, and for her, this is her niche, like play therapy. Just seeing how children just grow and develop through play, and
Mm-hmm.
teaching parents how to play with their kids. Some
Yeah.
parents think like, oh, giving a child a tablet, that's playing. No, what?
Mm.
You got to be engaged. And I know for you, you're always on the floor with your kids.
Hmm.
You're always sitting on the dirt or in the grass. You're always doing like you're engaged. Like there's no such thing as like, I'll sit on the bench while you sitting on
Yeah.
grass. Like, you know what I mean? So I love the fact that it's almost kind of like you're like turn into a kid when
Yes. Yes.
you essentially have to.
Yeah.
How many times we would go to the centers and we had to tell the teachers like get on the ground on the carpet with the kids, you
Yeah.
know. Um, you have to kind of transform to the kids' level to be able to kind of understand their world. So, oh my gosh, Jeri, we're already at the end. I'm so excited that you were able to meet up. Guys, you just don't know how long we've been trying to play phone tag and trying to meet and make this happen. And we finally made it happen. I love
Yeah.
it. But that's
Thank
just to show
you. Yeah.
we both kind of like were determined. And I appreciate that you just took some time out of your, busy schedule, even your sleep time right now, and to do to do this. So thank you so much, Jeri. Jeri, do you have any final word or advice for the people? Either moms to
Um,
be or expected moms or
Yes, well, definitely. I think I want to say, like, if you're doubting, doubting yourself, like, know that I want to say that God has chosen you
Mhm.
for this child, right?
Yeah.
And this in this time. So
Yeah.
you are, and whatever you need, like you are gonna be able to give them the best version of the mom that they need, the father that they need, right? You're the one. And to be graceful with yourself and definitely be in community, because really that's so important. If it's not your immediate family, it's a mom friend at the park, or like
Mhm.
somebody that you from work. Like those are it's just building community. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so happy to have done this and connect. I
Oh.
was so excited and nervous.
You're natural, Jerry. You're
Yeah.
natural. Tell the people how they can find you. Give us some social media accounts.
So I have my social media. You can find me at the Mindful Heart Co. And yeah, yeah.
And this is on all platforms,
On
IG,
Instagram, only
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. You manage so many different ones. Girl, tell us about the other ones. You got the play journal. Girl,
Yes,
stop.
it's
See, Jerry is always selling
so
herself
that.
short. She's very humble, but she's doing so much. So I need her to just tell us what, because you have parents that want to see what what play therapy is all about. So
Yeah.
yes, the Mindful Heart Co.
That's
private
like my
practice.
private practice, right?
Yeah.
So, and then our play journal is like really from when all the little things that I've been able to post online, because I'm so bad at that, really, like keeping up with it. But of all like our play ideas or the things that we do with our friends, like our homeschool community. So it's like that's what that's about. Different play
Okay.
ideas.
Okay. And then don't you have a third one?
No, that's just my regular.
Oh, okay. Well, you manage and maintain all of them beautifully. And so check her out, the Mindful Heart Counseling Private Practice in Palmetto Bay. You have your own suite, right?
Yes, yes. So it's
Palmetto
gonna be
Bay.
sweet to 11.
211. There you
Mhm.
go. Jerry, it's always a pleasure having you here. And so you've heard it yourself from my friend, a beautiful mom and a wife. She's saying, obviously, motherhood is beautiful, but it's about understanding yourself and understand that it's going to be some ebb and flow through the journey. So again, all of you who are listening and or watching, I'm Tamuska, your host, and always remember, always keep it real. Jerry,
Mhm.
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.